Hello friends, how are you doing? Today is Tuesday, December 15th, and I am back with a stitching update. It has been 5 weeks since I uploaded my last one, so I hope you are all doing well. If you're brand new to my channel, welcome. My name is Olivia. The past 5 weeks have been very busy for me. This is the first Christmas where I have worked in a retail environment since I was in high school. And it's been very, very, very people-y busy. The place that I work at is very much a destination. I mean, people come from far and wide to go there. Family comes in out of town, they bring them, locals come. It's a very unique place. And lots of people come visit, and it's really, really neat. I love all my coworkers. I am very blessed to have such amazing coworkers, and I only work 4 more days, and then I'm off for 2 weeks, and I have tons of plans. For one, the pit of despair is going to get gutted. As soon as Christmas is over, I'm just gonna, in fact, the whole house is probably gonna get a very critical once over, and I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of stuff that's been neglected these last couple of months that I definitely need to pay some time to. So I'm looking forward to having the time off and also being able to work on my hobbies, get some more stitching done, get some more quilting done. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to not having a paycheck during that time, but that's okay. I'll just be glad to be home and spending time with my family. So that'll be really good. And I also can't believe that Christmas is a week from tomorrow. For me personally, it snuck up on me even though I knew it was there, but I just can't believe it's almost Christmas. It just blows me away. I felt like I was just here not that long ago. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in and start kind of talking about what's been happening over the past 5 weeks. The first thing I want to talk about is the quilt hanging up behind me in today's video. It is called Christmas Turkey by Temecula Quilt Company. I'm not really going to get into it too much today because I did talk about in my quilt video that I uploaded last week. So if you're curious about it, I'll put a link to that video, and I would love if you go over and watch it. I also shared all of the quilts of Christmas that I have out and about around the house. So I would love for you to go check out that video if you're at all interested in quilting. The trees that you can kind of see behind me. So this one has all my vintage ornaments on it, some that my grandma gave me, and then some that I've been collecting over the past couple of years. I got the Santa tree back up again this year. It is totally all decorated with all Santas. The 3 cross stitch pieces that are over my shoulder. The top one is one of the Prairie Schooler Santas. It comes in one of those booklets where it's got a variety of different Santas. They usually have them arranged in a really cute circle, and it was one of those that I stitched him from. If I can find the information, I will list it down below in the description box. So when I finished him, he was mounted onto a tiny cutting board that I had picked up from Hobby Lobby. I think you were supposed to, it was part of like their charcuterie aisle that they had, and you were supposed to put like a fancy piece of cheese on it or something for your charcuterie spread. And I just thought it was the perfect size for some sort of an ornament. However, when I did finish him, it was just a little bit too heavy to put on my tree. So I just kind of prop them up wherever I can. And whenever I decorate, I just kind of find a little spot to prop them up. The middle is a cross-stitch piece called Christmas Joy. It is by Homespun Prims by Lori. I stitched it up a couple of years ago. I ended up kind of putting it away in a safe spot, and then I came across it a little bit later on and realized that I needed to get this in a frame. I went to Hobby Lobby and I picked out a custom frame for it. I'm so glad that I did, because I just kind of found the perfect sort of rustic style earth tone frame for it, and it's just absolutely perfect. And then the bottom one is called Merry Christmas Pin Keep 1897 by Country Rustic Primitives on Etsy. I stitched this one, I can't remember, I remember framing it. I think I framed it last year. I just don't remember if I stitched it last year or it was the year before. A lot of times what happens is with my seasonal pieces, if I don't get to them right away, it's usually like the next spring when I work on them. But I do remember having this one out last year, so I feel like I finished it last year. What I will do is down in the description box, I will put all of the information for all three. I didn't want to go any farther into the video without talking about them, because I know I will get asked about them, and I always feel really bad when I have a cross-stitch piece behind me and I just completely don't talk about it. I'm not sure when it comes to what I stitched each piece on. I'm not sure. A lot of times with these smaller pieces, it's just whatever I have in my stash that's big enough, except for the middle one, Christmas Joy. I'm pretty positive I stitched it on like a 36 count Heartland or Legacy by Pictureless Plus. All right, so I think I'm going to start off with finishes. So in my last video, I was working on Thomas by Not Forgotten Farms, and I can't remember how far into it I, was at the point of my video. But because I had to record that video so far ahead of time, that by the time it posted onto YouTube, I was already done with Thomas. And a lot of you guys had thought that my needles had been on fire trying to get it done, but that was not the case. I had worked on it for pretty much a week and then had it finished right around the time that video came out. So here is Thomas. My original plan had been to get this framed in time for Thanksgiving, but the way that those weeks that followed my video between my birthday and Thanksgiving, it ended up just being very busy on my days off. And my husband and I, we went away for an evening for our anniversary, which was kind of smack in the middle of it. And there was just no free time whatsoever. That's just kind of how it's been November and December. There's just been no free time really to do anything unless I, come home from work and, work on things for a little bit. I decided to just kind of let it go, and I would find a frame for this sometime in the new year and get it fully finished, and it'll be ready and waiting next year. But Thomas has been on a very long list of projects that I want to get stitched and have around my home, and I'm just so very happy to have him done. I stitched Thomas on a piece of 36 count Parchment by Weeks Dye Works, and I used the called for DMC threads, and I stitched it 1/2, and I love him so much. He's so pretty. My most recent finish is Hometown Holiday Sampler by Lori Holt. So this was a stitch along that I was participating in that I failed epically at. I loved working on this piece. I did make a series of mistakes, and I thought I would talk about them a little bit, because anytime anything's missing off of anything I show, there's always a couple of people that have to point it out to me, and I just want to get ahead of the game and tell you I know. So when I was working on this row right here, I had stitched all of this and I was way over here, and I quit for the evening, and I grabbed my sheet of paper and I was looking at it just to kind of see what I had going on next. And it was then that I discovered that this row of holly leaves, I had not stitched it. So I sat there for a few minutes, very perturbed at myself that I had missed that whole entire line, thinking, do I really want to stitch, or do I really want to take out all of the stitching that I had done just to stitch that tiny row of holly leaves, or just leave it off and adjust the rest of the sampler? I went with the latter and finished stitching this row, and I put in a row of holly leaves right here, and then I continued with the rest of the sampler, leaving off this row down here. That way it kind of looks similar to what's going on up here. So I have the first line, a row of holly leaves, last line, a row, well, so a row of holly leaves, and then the last line. So it just kind of, I don't know, flip-flopped it a little bit. That way it looks like it was meant to be instead of I completely forgot. But here is my finish. So this particular project, I charted it in my own colors, and I really, really love how it turned out. I feel like it is more traditionally Christmas / winter, because you really could have this up in the winter time. It's not screaming Christmas to me. So it's definitely something that I could leave up through the Christmas season and then into the winter. But I do really love how it turned out. It's definitely more my color palette. It was a lot of fun kind of playing with threads and, you know, trying to find ones that would work. I think it turned out really good. When I was working on the first row, I was really worried that I had made a colossal error. And I was rethinking everything. And I kept going, and I really like how it turned out. For this one, I don't have any plans to fully finish it until next year. I just wanted to get it done, and I did not want to take it into 2025. I wanted it totally out of the mocking basket of whips and in my to be finished pile. So I'm so happy that I was able to reach that goal. Makes me so happy. So I stitched this on a piece of 40 count Affogato by Fiber on a Whim, and I used my own color conversion, and I stitched it 1/2, and I love it. I love it so much. I love it, love it. Very, very, very pleased with the finish. At the very end of November, and after I'd finished all of my assignments for the month, which I only had 2, I started Mary One, A Bowl Full of Marys by Plum Street. Thought I was going to be able to get it fully finished for Ye Old Trench Bowl and for today's video, but I did not. I am hoping to get it fully finished by Christmas because I don't want it floating out all year and then waiting until, you know, later next year to fully finish it. I want it to have it completely done. I do have some trim coming for it that I ordered from Christine, Hollis Hands Creates on her Etsy shop. So that should be here either tomorrow or Thursday. So once it comes, I hope it will light a fire under me to get to working on it. And here it is. So it turned out really good. I had a different piece of linen pulled for this one. I think it was a piece of oaken, but I wanted it to have more of a wintry vibe to it. So I kind of went through my stash and I robbed this from another project. And this is a piece of 36 count Weathered Shingle by R&R Reproduction. And I think it looks really perfect. I like it. So I like how Santa is sort of in a pink suit. It just has a very vintage vibe to it, and I just totally love it. And having it on the gray, I think it was a really good choice. And I can see all the little holly leaves and the berries, they just pop right out, and I just really love it. So I can't wait to get this fully finished. The trim that I ordered is sort of the same color maybe as the berries, maybe a little bit more not pink, it's like a wine color is what I decided to get, because I thought between all of the threads and the linen and having that sort of wine color, I thought maybe it would look good together. I hope. What inspired me was I went to the vintage store and I saw this display that they had done, and it was all like pinks and greens, and then it had splashes of like a wine color with it. And so I was very inspired by that, and that's why I decided on that color. So I hope it works out. But I absolutely loved working on this, and I definitely want to stitch the others in the series and have them next year. So we'll have to see. My last finish comes from Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, and it is called Letters for Santa. So this is one I started back in June of 23 when I was starting all the things. I had just a very, very minute amount stitched. It was like part of the border, which I ripped out, and then a little bit of his hat, and that was it. And when I finished working on Hometown Holiday Sampler, I still had a bit of time before I knew I needed to work on my assignments for this month. And so I decided to pick this one up and figured if I could just get a little ways on it, just get it a little bit farther along, that was a win for me. And it actually stitched up way faster than I thought, and I was able to finish it. And so I was definitely pleased to be able to get another Christmas project done this year. That was my goal for 2024, was to stitch more Christmas, and I feel like I did pretty good. So to have one last Christmas stitch done for this year definitely made me very happy. The finishing inspiration came from watching Carol Saltbox Stitcher a couple of years ago. She had participated in a swap, and her partner had stitched this particular piece for her and had finished it much better than me. Her partner, I mean, the way that she finished it, it was beautiful. And mine's a very pale companion to, or pale comparison to it, but I think it turned out pretty good. I like it. So I took finishing inspiration from Carol's partner. And it had always just kind of stuck in my mind ever since I saw it. Whenever I looked at this piece or, see somebody else stitch it, it would just flash through my mind that I really liked the way that her partner had finished it for her. It was absolutely perfect. She has like some scissors in here, and off the scissors, there's different things hanging off of it. It's just really cute. I love it. So for mine, I, kind of did the same thing. I found little bits of trim that I had left over from other projects. Basically what I was trying to do is make sure that I didn't buy anything new for it, that I just kind of used what I had. So I already had the fabric in my stash, and this postcard that's up here, it's like a little vintage Christmas postcard that one of my quilt friends had given me several years ago at a party. I already had this little bit of greenery in my stash. I already had the rusty bell and the rusty safety pin. So basically just needed to try to find stuff that I already had to sort of give it the same similar look as Carol's partner had done for her finished piece. So I think it turned out really good. I like it. I'm very pleased with it. I might try to get something a little bit different for the postcard. There's like some other vintage ones that I also like. But then I do like having this postcard in here because it does have a personal note on it. And I do kind of like having that. So we'll have to see. But I am very happy with how it turned out. I love it. And I hope that Carol doesn't mind that I kind of took inspiration from hers. The person who made it for her, stitched it for her, did an amazing job on finishing, and I hope she doesn't mind that I also took inspiration. So I finished Letters for Santa on a piece of, I think, 36 count Cream Brulee. I lost the tag for it, so I'm not sure who it was that dyed it, but I did use a variety of threads from my stash, just ones that kind of looked very similar to the ones that were used, and I stitched it 1/2. I do like it. It's so cool. Very happy to have this one done. All right, let's move on to progress. So over the past 5 weeks, I continued to work on some assignments that I have been working on throughout the year. This particular assignment, I haven't been so great about working on Sundays. And in fact, the whole month of October, I didn't work on it at all and didn't pick it up again until about midway through November. I felt really bad about that. And I tried to get back on track. There was a couple of times I was able to, and then a couple of times I wasn't, just because I was trying to get Christmas projects finished. And now that all of my Christmas obligations are done, I will be able to pick up and continue working on His Eye on the Sparrow by Heartstring Samplery with my friend Michelle of Cozy Egg. And I am so thrilled. because I have been missing working on this one and I love it. And I love each and every single motif when I get it done and can just move on to the next motif. And I would really like a year from now to be quite a bit farther ahead. So this one I need to find, like Sundays, I need to make sure I'm dedicating more time to this one. It's just been a bit tough these last 3 months trying to, with just everything else going on. This time of the year is so busy, and so now that a lot of the obligations are done and it's going to go into quiet winter time, I should be able to spend more of my Sunday working on this instead of just 2 hours. So I'm stitching his eye on the Sparrow on a piece of 40 count One More Reproduction by B Stitch Me, and I'm using all of the called for threads, stitching at 1/2. And it's so absolutely gorgeous. So beautiful. Towards the end of November, I picked up and worked on Sarah Stewart Hardman by Needlework Press. I started this one on my birthday a couple of years ago, and I am working on it with my friend Yvette. Taking this one very slowly. And the assignment that I assigned was to stitch the birds on either side of the turkey/peacock. And I was able to do that. I did have a little moment of panic when I had stitched this bird right here. I was over here working on this bird, and when I got it done, I noticed that this bird right here was 1 stitch higher, and I thought I had made a counting error, and I had a little bit of a panic attack. And then I looked at the chart, and it is charted that way. So I was very happy because I was not ripping it out. But I really loved working on this one, and I need to figure out the assignment for this month, even though the month is very nearly over. I need to get on that. But I love working on Sarah so much. I want to get her done. I love her. She's so beautiful. And I have plans on personalizing this with my 2x great-grandmother, and I cannot wait to get it done and have it someday hanging on my wall. I just need to get on it. So I'm stitching this on a piece of 36 count, I think vintage Buttercream by Lakeside Linens, and I'm stitching it with the classic Colorworks that is listed in the chart, and I'm stitching at 1/2. I love it. All those colors are so beautiful. I just love it. So pretty. So I need to figure out the assignment for this month. That way I can get it done before the end of the year. My next little bit of progress was on the Houses of Hawthorne Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. So I'm currently working on this block right here. And my goal for November was to finish everything but the fill-in. That I saved for this month. And coincidentally, I will be picking this up and working on it tonight. And I've actually been looking forward to it. I enjoy fill-in a lot. There's just something about it where you can just kind of like, your mind can just sort of not have to count. And I find a lot of comfort in just doing fill-in. So I've actually really been looking forward to working on it all this month. And now that it's here, I know I'm going to enjoy doing all the fill-in. I know that's so weird to say, but I really do enjoy doing fill-in. I don't mind it a bit. So looking forward to working on it tonight, and then I just need to finish this block by the end of December, and I will have met my goal for this year. And then in January, I get to start a new one, so I'm really excited about that. So I'm stitching the Houses of Hawthorne Hollow on a piece of 40 count Heritage by Picture This Plus, and I am using DMC thread, stitching at 1/2. And for this particular block, I used all of it's the conversion that they did from MPI Silks to DMC. I ended up using all of it. So I'm excited to see how this block turns out. I think it's going to be really cool. So in my next block, or my next video, I should have that to show totally finished. My plans for the rest of the month will be to work on and finish Houses of Hawthorne Hollow, the assignment. and then the assignment on Sarah Stewart Hardman. So if I can get both of those done before the end of December, there's a couple of projects, couple of 3 projects that I am considering working on. The first one would be a new start, and it's one I got for my birthday, and it's Animal Cracker Series Paisley. So my husband bought this for me for my birthday. It actually went missing for a few days, and so he was super bummed, and then he went down to the post office a couple of times to see if he could locate it, and it turns out they, of course, had delivered it to our neighbor, who luckily decided not to keep it. So I'm really thinking about starting this one. It would be the first animal cracker project that I've worked on, and this one has always caught my eye. I just really think she's so cute. I love her dress, and I just love everything about her. So I'm considering starting and working on this one until it's finished. My husband went with the recommended linen, because 123 Stitch always has that menu that pops up on the side, that if you just want to buy the pattern or the chart and all of the threads and the linen, they always have a linen that they recommend. If the recommended linen they don't carry. And it came with this, which is a 36 count antique white, but I think it's going to be a little too white for her. I don't think that her her face is going to show up very good. So I think I might go into my stash and see if I can find something else, and then use this for another project down the road. And then he got me all of the called for threads. So I'm thinking about starting that one. Or if my conscience is feeling guilty, I have 2 projects that come out of the Mocking Basket of Whips that I am thinking about working on. And these are 2 projects that, because I'm already starting to plan out 2025, and I'm kind of planning out that first video of the new year. And these are 2 projects that are very high on the list of projects that I want done by the end of 2025. So it's like, part of me is like, well, maybe I should start working on them now. The first one is Gathering the Green Sampler by Stacy Nash. I started this one forever ago. I think I did it back in the summer of 2023. I've kind of worked on it sporadically, and I really had thought by this time I would have it done. And so this is one that's always been very high on my list of projects to try to get finished. And here is the progress that I've made. Not a ton. I'm stitching it on a 36 count gray by Weeks Dye Works, and I'm using all of the called for threads. I love this one so very much, and especially this time of the year, I'm seeing it pop up almost daily when I go on Instagram. It's either in the background of a photo, or it's part of a sampler wall, or somebody's just finishing it, and every time it pops up, I just, anyway, struggle is real. The next one that I'm also considering is one that I once again thought I would have done by now, and that is Birds of a Feather Alphabet Sampler. I started this one, I don't even remember when. It's written down in my book, and I 110% thought I was going to have this one done by this time when I started it. And I don't know what my deal is. I don't know why I set this. I don't remember if I got frustrated with it or what happened. But yes, even if I don't pick this one up after Christmas is over, or after I've met all my obligations for assignment-wise this month, it's definitely one that's really high on the plans for next year. So it will get worked on. It's just, why haven't I worked on it yet? As far as the linen, I cannot find the paperwork for it. I don't know. I hope it's written down somewhere. I need to go back and look through my previous book of days and see if I wrote it down there. It is a 36 count. I want to say it's a Cocoa Linen by Weeks Dye Works, but I'm not 100% sure. But I am using all of the called for threads. So I need to get all 3 of those done, actually. So those are some things that I am, floating about working on once I finish my assignments. I did get a little bit of mail over these many weeks. The first little bit of mail comes from the Fat Quarter Shop, and all of these items are available now on the Fat Quarter Shop's website. First one is a quilt pattern called Whispers of Autumn by Kim Deal, and I love this one so very much. The next is a cross-stitch pattern called November's Turkey, and is part of a monthly cross-stitch series. Super cute. Cakewalk by Lori Holt, Be in My Bonnet. Vintage Dishes by Lori Holt, Be in My Bonnet. And these are both quilt patterns. The next is a cross-stitch pattern called Easily Distracted by Kim Deal. I follow Kim Deal on Instagram, and I remember when she started working on it, and she finished it really, really quickly. It was super cute. The next is a cross-stitch pattern called the Wedding Sampler. This is very beautiful. Love it. I did receive my Stitch Quarterly Club subscription from the Fat Quarter Shop. It came in this adorable project bag, which I am swooning over. I think it is so cute. The chart for this season is called 'Tis the Season, and it is a gingerbread house, which is super adorable. So when you get your subscription in the mail, so it usually always has a project bag, it's got the chart, and then it comes with the Ada. So this is a piece of 14 count Ada by Fiber on a Whim called Pistachio. It has a needle minder which matches the chart, which is very cute. Comes with all of the threads, and this time it has the 6.5 by 6.5 self-stick mounting board that is for the finishing of the project. So if you're at all curious about the Stitch Quarterly Club subscription, I will put a link directly to the subscription page. It comes out 4 times of the year, and it's always seasonal. So this Christmas or winter, it was gingerbread themed, and I think last year it was winter themed, but they're always very, very cute. So thank you so very much to the Fat Quarter Shop for sending those items my way, and I will put a link to the Fat Quarter Shop's website down below. I did receive a wonderful package in the mail, and I know I'm gonna butcher your name, and I'm so sorry. I am the worst. But the package came from Gerana. It's Gerana. I am terrible when it comes to pronouncing names. She sent me a wonderful package in the mail. It came with this beautiful card and just a lovely handwritten note. She sent me some charts that I can either keep or give away. The first one is a little kit. It's called Whale Watch, and it's by Chessie and Me. So it comes with the chart, the linen, and the silk threads. A pattern from the Proper Stitcher called Go Tell It on the Mountain. Such a wonderful small, and I know next year it's going to fit into my plans, and I can't wait to start talking about that. The next comes from the Nebby Needle called Appalachian Strong, and I recently found that I have roots that go very deeply into the Appalachian soil, so I love that. From Lori Holt Stitch Cards Set C and Set M. So fun. And then these two I hadn't seen until she sent them to me. They're so cool. They are also by the Proper Stitcher, and this one is Steampunk. Oh, I'm gonna butcher this one too, because in my mind I can say it. Penelope. It's not right. She's very cute, and if I'm gonna stitch her, I need to learn how to say that name. And then Percival, which I can say no problem. But they are so cute. I just love them both. I love them. I love them. And then the last one is from Kathy Barrick, and it's called Caught in the Swirl. And it's just so cute. So thank you so very much. I'm sorry that I butchered your name, but I love all of the charts that you sent me, and I cannot wait to start working on the ones that I have fit into my 2025 plans. I'm super excited. Well, friends, that brings me to the end of today's video. If you've stuck around all the way to the end, thank you so very much. This will be the last video from me for this year, so I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas if you celebrate, and a wonderful start to your new year. I do plan on being back in January to talk about my plans for 2025. It's my favorite video to make. I also love watching everybody else's plans for the new year and their goals and all the things. It's like my favorite time of the year to watch Flosstube. So I'm really excited to make that video and talk about the plans that I have for the new year. So I hope you'll come back and see that video, see what I have been up to as I made my way through the end of December, the beginning of January. So I hope you'll come back and see all of that. If you're brand new to my channel, thank you so very much for stopping by today. If you would like to see what I am working on in between my videos, you can find me on Instagram. I'm Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, or I do have a Facebook page called Pumpkin Hollow Quilting, and I will put a link to them down below. Anything that I have shown and shared in today's video, I will also put down in the description box if you are at all curious. Once again, thank you so very much for stopping by today, and I will see you in the new year. Bye-bye.